You are joining us at the National Residential Landlord Association Conference at the National Conference Centre near Birmingham, and I'm joined by the busiest man of the day, NRLA CEO Ben Beadle. And Ben, well, first of all, congratulations for an incredible event. The other side of that door over there, I think there's about 1,000 landlords, sold out, and I have to say, it's probably the biggest gathering of landlords that I've known about in over a decade. So congratulations. How's the day going from your perspective?
Well, it's going great. I'd be a liar if I said I wasn't tired and looking forward to bringing everything to a close, but it's been a fabulous day. What I've been really pleased about, Vanessa, is it's been an opportunity not just to bring a group of, I don't know what the collective noun is, by the way.
We were discussing that on the way in.
But a fantastic group of landlords, agents, people from across the sector who are passionate about what they're doing, and we're putting them in front of the people that matter. I wanted Gove and Clive Betts to hear directly from members about their concerns, but at the same time set out their strategy for the future and why landlords should feel optimistic. So whether they leave optimistic will be a matter for individuals, but getting them in front of the people that matter is my job, and I've been really, really pleased that it's worked so effectively today.
Well, you really did deliver on that, Ben, and I was here to see Gove, and amazing kudos to the NRLA to have him as the headline act, if you like. I was very interested to see him because I actually didn't know what to expect, and I think that he actually really engaged with the whole session. Yeah. And he did come up with some answers, but I still felt that he skirted around some of the issues. But one of the things that he really was adamant about was rent controls, and that the Conservatives would never support that.
100%, and that certainly had the biggest cheer of the day. Yeah, he was unequivocal when it came to rent control. But what I want to see, Vanessa, is, you know, we still have rent pressure out there. We've still got rents at record highs. We've also got landlord costs at record highs, pretty much, according to Savills, and those costs are caused, like it or loathe it, by government intervention. And so it was really important to put him on the spot about the impact of Section 24, mortgage interest, stamp duty changes, because without modifications to that, I can't see how it's going to get better, particularly in the context of higher mortgage rates.
Well, you definitely, I think you did your best to really push him for an answer and indeed more detail, which I thought, you know, when we talked about supply and demand, he came out with all the old, things that he normally comes out with about, increasing, social housing and encouraging developers to build more and so on. Those are long-term solutions, but we're actually
now, right?
Exactly.
The need is
and
now.
He didn't have an answer, and you did very well to press him on Section 24, and he kind of skirted around it. He said the government was looking at different things. I don't think he really came up with anything, but he did say that he regarded a thriving private rented sector as a very important part of the economy. So I think it's amazing that he was even here on the screens via the video link up in the first place. But I still hope that he would come out with something that would really give us something to kind of cling on to think that things are going to get a bit better for landlords.
I mean, the reality is we all want a thriving private rented sector, but Gove and others will need to make some tangible changes in order for it to thrive, because I don't feel it is thriving or working well for landlords or renters at the moment. We have a high cost base, we have high rents. Actually, there's not many winners in that, and we know that whilst the Tories are focused on home ownership and social mobility, you actually do need to have a positive private rented sector that people can afford to move into and from. He acknowledges that, but obviously not much detail on how we're going to make it thrive, and we have to keep pushing that, and that's exactly what we're going to continue to do.
Well, I wanted to give you some feedback in that regard.
Oh, right, okay.
Because a landlord by the name of Louise Reynolds came up to me, and she said that she was very impressed by Gove, but she said that she put that down to how well that you personally and the NRLA team lobbying team had educated him about the issues that landlords are facing. So I just wanted to feed that back to you.
That's
because
really nice.
I felt that he did have a better understanding and he was open to hearing the landlord's point of view.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, all I can do is to, bust the door open and get landlords' views in front of him. Now, what I have to do is to make sure that that's coherent, it's fair, it's backed by research, which is where we invest our membership money.
Data.
But it's also about that sort of personal rapport between Michael and myself. And we've enjoyed many interactions. We're not going to agree on everything, and there'll be people out there that say, well, you shouldn't entertain him at your conference, you shouldn't do this, that or the other. The only way we're going to affect change is by showing that we mean business, and by saying that we will work with whatever colour of government is in power to fight for responsible landlords, not just because we want to feather anyone's nest in particular, but actually it's good for the sector. I take the view that a thriving private rented sector comprises happy tenants paying affordable rents with landlords that are making a margin. We've come away from that a little bit, but that still holds true.
No, it absolutely does. And I think the fact that he was looking out onto a room full of 1,000 landlords, I think that was really important, because we've always said it's strength in numbers.
100%.
And he was actually looking us in the eyes and hearing our pain.
And that was deliberate. I wanted him to see the membership. I wanted him to feel some of the stories and some of the issues that members are facing. He's heard it from me. He doesn't need to see my ugly mug. He needs to see who's out there. And my job is to get those voices and stories heard and told, and that's what we did in that session.
I think the whole session was actually very, very effective. It was great that people in the audience could ask him questions directly.
Yep.
But he's not the sole part of today. There's loads of other amazing speakers here, covering so much ground.
100%. So rental reform is one big part of it. I wanted it to be very, very relevant to what landlords are feeling at the moment, and that's why we had some great research pieces from Savills, Lucian Cook, Kate Faulkner talking about the state of the market, but also the financial piece, mortgage brokers from across the sector, Lloyds, Paragon, 3MC, our own mortgage brokers, really giving quality insight and information into what's actually happening in the market, so that people can make really informed decisions about their portfolio. Obviously, Gove was the headline act, and I'm very pleased that he spent the best part of an hour with us. But we also heard from Clive Betts, the Levelling Up Select Committee chairman.
He was excellent.
He was very good, and he gave as good as he got, and that's what I wanted. He's a good guy, Clive. Again, we enjoy very cordial relations. I've given evidence to his committee on a number of occasions. But again, there will be people out there, and I asked him this, that will worry about the direction of travel under Labour. And it's great that we, have somebody like Clive and others who are willing to engage with the issues that matter. Because as I said, whether it's red or blue, landlords are here to stay. And whichever government it is, they will need private landlords, because social housing is not going to come quick enough.
What would you say was the main takeaway from Gove's speech for you personally, or Gove's interaction with the conference?
So I think there's a couple of things. Obviously, it was great to be so unequivocal on rent control. But obviously there were people there that landed comments around students and the periodic tenancy, which is very, very important. And we did press him a lot on court reform, because obviously there's been a lot of chatter over the weekend. It's very relevant timing, with Section 21 not coming in until there's a judgment about the appropriateness of the court. But that's a direct impact of NRLA campaigning.
Yes.
It absolutely is. And in some respects I'm surprised, because actually he told me that 6 months ago. So this is something that we've always been working towards, but now it's kind of all come out, and there's a lot of people that are concerned about the direction of travel. But his judgment is absolutely right on this. You can't expect a broken system to suddenly start churning out additional cases. You've got to invest, you've got to digitalise it, you've got to make sure that court users have the right sort of experience. Justice delayed is justice denied, and it's not fair to do it any other way.
I did get the sense that he understood some landlord pain points and
100%.
problems, and I think one of the key things he talked about, it's getting louder because the people are coming out now, one of the things that he talked about was, he was quite big on antisocial behaviour and that it should be clamped down on because it affects the whole community.
It does. Antisocial behaviour, rent arrears, the concessions that he's made around persistent arrears as a result of our intervention, and when it comes to antisocial behaviour, making it easier for landlords to get possession more quickly and with a lower test in that particular scenario.
Well, I just want to wind up by giving you one other bit of feedback. I was talking to the lovely Tracy Hambury, who runs the landlord investment shows, and she said to me, and I agree wholeheartedly with her, she said, Ben has totally modernised the NRLA, that you've brought it into a much higher game and you are serving the members brilliantly with Today, with Gove, with all the other initiatives you're doing. So I think today is a triumph for you personally, Ben, and well done, because if the camera could turn around, you see a whole flood of landlords coming through. So we're winding it up now, but just say well done today. Thank you for having us here and for doing the interview, and it's going to be a really memorable day, and I think people are going to take so much away with them today.
I think they will. Firstly, it's a triumph for my members, this event. It's great for me, but it's a triumph for getting members' voices heard. That's what we're here to do, and that's what we're going to continue to do with vigour.
Well done.